If you look at things from Mr. Putin's perspective in the Kremlin, he looks at the West and actually he sees the West pretty weak at the present moment. We've been totally hamstrung to know what to do as far as Syria is concerned, and it remains an absolute nightmare. But of course, Russia is the main supporter of Assad in Syria, and he looks at Western countries reducing their defence budgets, and actually he sees the West looking pretty weak at the present moment. So it encourages him to be bold on his own fringes, and I think it's an important part of peace and security more widely that we put a decent proportion of our national expenditure into defence to put a bit of muscle behind our diplomacy. Otherwise, when the bully's in the playground, I'm afraid the bully gets too much of a run around at his own timing. I don't think anybody wants to see a return to the confrontation of the Cold War, and I don't think Mr. Putin would actually see any great merit to be gained in fighting for places on his fringes. But if he actually thinks that there's going to be virtually no reaction at all, then he'll be encouraged to nibble away at the boundaries. It may be a little bit dismal to make comparisons with the 1930s, but that's what Adolf Hitler was doing in the 1930s, seeing what he could get away with. And he got away with a lot until, frankly, the world had to stand up. We don't want to go back to that kind of situation, but I think there are lessons to be learned from history. And I think if we are looking weak, I think we should actually analyse ourselves again and say, should we be doing just a bit more and putting a bit more muscle behind our diplomacy and our economic sanctions, and actually showing Mr. Putin and any others around the world that the West is still a force to be reckoned with.